As the sun rises and its morning light awakens the slumbering city, more than 11,000 people head to work. Their job is quite different than most. They are scavengers. The trash of an entire city is their survival. Each and every day they scavenge through the filthy rubbish in order to find something to sell, to use, or to feed their families. Trash is their life, and life is a daily struggle for survival. Is this how God intends that the highest of His creation live? To those serving with Potter's House, this is not acceptable. Over 2 decades ago, Gladys Acuna and Lisbeth Piedrasanta determined to end the cycle of poverty and bring hope to the people in this desperate situation. Their dream became Potter's House, an organization that views the scavengers as treasures and equips them with tools to build a better life, a life beyond the dump.
One of our goals or values is to help them to take the garbage dump from their minds, not to take them from the garbage dump, because if you move them to another place, another garbage dump is in their lives. So this is one of the things that we are encouraged, and we know that just the Lord can do that. And you know, the Bible says in Romans 12 that if we change our mind and renew our mind, we will be a new person. So that is the way to help them.
Those living off the dump experience a multi-dimensional poverty, and each aspect of that poverty must be addressed.
God never intended the human being, His prized creation, to live in such conditions, to live in the middle of the garbage dump. God put the image of Himself in the human being to live in totally different conditions.
From its inception, the members of Potter's House have lived among these beautiful people, loving them and seeing full potential in them. Time revealed, however, that their poverty extended beyond a lack of education and economic resources. Multiple forms of poverty have formed a web that traps these people in a lifestyle they desperately want to escape. In fact, over the years, Potter's House has identified 8 different forms of poverty that keep these precious scavengers trapped in this web, dependent daily on the garbage dump. Potter's House provides a holistic approach in the prayerful goal of someday eliminating all forms of poverty in the garbage dump area. Meet Irma Chiquito.
My name is Irma Chiquito. I am 32 years old. I am a single mother of 4 girls.
She is one of the more than 11,000 people who depend on the garbage dump just to survive. Each afternoon, she descends into the dump to compete with thousands of others desperate to find anything to maintain their meager existence. Her life has never been easy, but with the help of generous people, she is overcoming the many forms of poverty that confront her every day. Like many of the scavengers in the garbage dump, Irma found it difficult to believe that a God of love would allow such a life of hardship for her. Her daily fight for survival leaves her no time to focus attention on the matters of her soul and spirit. Scavengers like Irma live in spiritual poverty, lacking a relationship with God.
My life has been very hard since I was very young. It wasn't easy at all because I lived in a family where my father was an alcoholic. And he died when I was about 18. And from then on, my life was not the same anymore. I had to work, and I was drawn to a very dark way of life. I always asked God to please help me, as I felt that I had a hole in my life. And it's been very hard for me to forget all of that. I thought God didn't love me and that He wasn't at my side.
In the dump, subsistence work often replaces school. The lessons learned in the dump are, I can't do it, or I'm garbage. Scavengers view themselves as worthless. They have no resources to plan for the future, learn a skill, or utilize a talent. A life without access to knowledge and information creates a life of intellectual poverty.
I've been working since I was 9 years old. I worked in a coffee factory where I worked as a roaster. I worked with my aunt and mother. Much later, I started working in the dump to support my girls after I left my husband. I could read, but I didn't know how to write. I have worked for as long as I can remember.
Life for these treasures is difficult. They live in overcrowded homes, experience physical and sexual abuse, and often have to fight for the best scraps at the dump. They carry physical and emotional scars that contribute to low self-esteem and lead to inappropriate love and affection towards others. Many scavengers find it difficult to be affectionate even with their own children and family members. They suffer from poverty of affection.
My whole life has been injured by abuse. My person and character is deeply hurt. When I was a little girl, I wanted to get married and have a beautiful wedding, but I didn't have any of that. And the father of my kids really humiliated me. He always rejected me, and he would yell at me. And I would say, why did my father have to leave me? Why did he die? And I had to go through all of this in my life. If my dad was alive, he would have defended me. It affected me a lot. I gave up on God and the church. In desperate need of love and a better life, I left the dump to start a family when I was 14.
Chaos rules in the dump, making it difficult to learn structure, discipline, and self-control. With no guidance, it is difficult to make wise life choices. With no opportunity to break free and achieve goals, these treasures can suffer from a poverty of will.
After leaving my abusive husband, I had no place to go, except for the dump. I flattened an area and I got some big cardboard boxes and I built something that would shelter my children. We are going to sleep here, I told them. One of my daughters was 1 year old. I just put her on my back and she would stay with me in the shelter. The other 2 girls lived with my mom in a room she had given me. I would stay in the shelter with my baby and go see my daughters to make sure they had eaten. Some days I feel blessed when I find fruit there in the dump. I bring the fruit home and I clean it so I can give my children a more balanced meal. I feel I am making every effort I can so my children can have a better life. I have dreams for them.
Everyday scavengers like Irma are exposed to an unhealthy environment that often results in severe respiratory, stomach, and skin diseases. With no resources to seek medical care in times of sickness, the scavengers suffer from physical poverty.
I have to work in the dump when it's raining. I will get sick and get a bad cold. I've had a fever with pain all over my body, a cough, but I still had to go back and work so my children can eat. Working in the dump is very difficult because the huge trucks, make things very dangerous. Once there was this young girl and a truck ran over her. This big machine came to push the garbage, and as she tried to get out of the way, she tripped and fell, and the truck ran over her. She's in a wheelchair now. The dump is located in a huge canyon. Now it is slowly filling up with tons of garbage. It is not safe for anyone there. There is no fresh water to drink. And if you have to go to the bathroom, there is no place to go. You always have to fight your way in. If you see something you want, you have to just get in there. There is a lot of fighting. And if you don't listen, they will grab you and beat you if you don't get out of the way.
Garbage dump scavengers often feel abandoned and discarded, especially those in families with no father figure. In the constant fight for survival, they find there is no support group for their spiritual, emotional, or material needs. They live every day in poverty of a support network.
When I left the father of my kids, I went to my mom. But she also didn't have that motherly love. She always just told me to work and work. I really never felt the love I should have from my mother, a love that nurtures you. Many times I feel alone with the burden of feeding and raising 4 children. Sadly, I am not the only one in this position. It is very common in the communities surrounding the dump that men surrender their lives to alcohol or other addictions and leave their families.
Cooperation and involvement in community efforts would do much to improve their lives, especially the children. Survival in the garbage dump breeds an every man for himself mentality. With little or no time to do anything but fend for themselves, the scavengers experience poverty of civic involvement.
I tried to get involved in a community group, but I don't want women to be involved. So often, I feel that I have to fend for myself in so many ways. Everyone is hurting and hardly has enough time to give anything to support their community.
The garbage dump is a desperate place. By the time the garbage is available for the treasures to scavenge, the best garbage has already been sold to buyers, and people like Irma get the worst of the waste. On a good day, scavengers earn about $5, but their daily income averages about $2. At this rate, any hopes of growth and progress are impossible, and the treasures never get past the stark reality of just living to make it through each day. This is their most glaring form of poverty, economic poverty, or the poverty of resources.
In the dump, I search for aluminum. I also search for clothes and toys, washing them and selling them in an open market. Sometimes I might also find food. And I find toys, I find clothes for my daughters. Sometimes if I find some nice pretty shoes, I can sell the shoes for 10, 15 quetzales. I go to the truck that comes from the grocery stores that have expensive food. And there is fruit and vegetables. They bring chicken and meat, and if anything looks good, I bring it home. If not, I leave it. The long walk from the dump on my way back takes 30 minutes to an hour. Mainly because I'm carrying all my findings for the day. My average income for the day is around $2.50. The Potter's House has been sent by God to help me. They have been so helpful. They make me feel that there is someone that loves me. Years ago, I was dreaming that I would have a house. But I told myself, how crazy of me to even think of that. I started laughing about it because it was a dream. But then, with time, I was blessed by the Potter's House when they told me I would receive a house. My dream would become reality. Thank God He was with me, and He supported me and encouraged me. Someone would always come with God's word to me and say, pick yourself up and be strong, and you will see how God is able to help you. And I told myself that these are hard times, but also joyous times. But right now, I feel very happy I have this home. Sometimes I wake up and I say, is this really mine? Maybe I'm back where I was, but maybe this is really my home. Potter's House has helped me feel not alone and encouraged me so I could still have confidence in God. They have helped me start going to church again, and they have really helped me with prayer.
Irma is a hard-working woman. Through the love of God and generous people who support the work of Potter's House, she is overcoming many of the forms of poverty that have severely affected her life. Through Potter's House, she has found a support network and learned that she is not alone. Irma is able to love her daughters as she never has before and works hard to provide them the best she has to offer. They are attending school, studying, and with educational support, they will be able to build a much better life for themselves. Potter's House is a beacon of light to those in the garbage dump community. Together with their staff of over 50 people, work tirelessly to empower the treasures by providing support and resources to turn their lives around.
When you are funding and supporting and being in partnership with Potter's House, you are giving hope to our children. We are not just giving away things, we are working together in the way that they can see that there is hope, their life can be changed.
The staff daily engages the community through their life-changing programs focused on personal development, education, health, and their micro-enterprise program, which enables treasures to start and grow businesses. From providing necessities such as meals and clothing, to installing floors and stoves, building sidewalks and homes, the impact Potter's House is having cannot be measured. But Irma and the 11,000 treasures who depend on the garbage dump still need continued support to overcome poverty in all its forms. It is not acceptable that God's treasures live lives of misery. Please partner with us in equipping the scavengers in the Guatemala City garbage dump to overcome all of these 8 forms of poverty. Get involved now. Donate, volunteer, pray.